Hey guys, I did a poll on Instagram and I asked what video you guys wanted to see today, and one of them was either the a fall makeup look or a, sorry I'm like trying to pull this thing down, whatever, or a story time, my experience financing a brand new car. And I'm not sure if it's because of like the spot where I put the sticker or what, but the story time ended up winning, so I got like 9 people's votes on that one, so I was pretty surprised. Again, I don't know if it's because of where the sticker was, so maybe people were pressing it by accident. Regardless, I'm gonna make that video today, so let's just jump right into it. About, I want to say almost 2 years ago, so February 6, 2018, I got my license. I was 9 months pregnant with my son, and I got my license. And right off the bat, I want to say for a long time, you guys, I was struggling. Like, I really wanted a car so bad. Like, that was my thing. I wanted a car really, really, really bad. So the minute I got my license, you can imagine my joy. Like, I was like, yes, 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 I need to go get a car, I need to get a car, I need to get a car. And for a long time I was thinking about financing a car, but I was thinking about going used, you know what I mean? I never thought, oh, I'm gonna get a brand new car, that's way too expensive, you know what I mean? And so my best friend, she brought me to a dealership, Toyota dealership, and we went to go look. We were just gonna look that day. We weren't planning on doing nothing like crazy or whatever. So we go, we're looking, and somebody comes up to me, obviously a salesperson comes up to us, and they're asking us, like, you know, if we need any help and stuff like that. So obviously, you know, we're like, yeah, we're just kind of looking, you know, I mean, I've never financed a car before, just got my license, you know, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And so the guy's like, yeah, cool. And right off the bat, I blame myself a lot for this because I was very naive. I knew I wanted a used car, but at the same time, like, any car is any car, you know what I mean? Like, I'll get whatever I can get at this point. So he shows me a 2018 Toyota Corolla, brand new, 0 miles on it, and I'm like, wow, this is so nice, I like it, this, that, and the other. I ended up getting approved for the car. I put $1,000 down. It was good, it was peachy, whatever. So that payment on that car, I believe it was 440 something or whatever. The guy got me to, like, I got like free tires, free maintenance, free whole bunch of stuff. Like, I had like paint protection, seat protection, window protection. Like, it was a lot of stuff like included into the payment or whatever, which is really, really high. I know, you guys, I know, trust me. Like, about in July of 2018, obviously my son was born already, and the Corolla was just too small for us. We couldn't fit very comfortably in the car, you know. It was just a hassle. We could barely fit anything in our trunk. It was just annoying. So me being the person I am, I'm like, you know what, I want a bigger car, I want a bigger car, I want a bigger car. And normally when I set my mind on something, it ends up happening, or I end up doing it. So I go again to the Toyota dealership again. Actually, we had looked at a Toyota CHR, and we were gonna get that one used as well. That one was like 10,000 on the website, whatever. So they set up an appointment. We went in for a Saturday or something like that. And so I'm telling them, yeah, I want a bigger car. You know, I was looking at the CHR. You know, I want something that's like in the same price range as the Corolla. And so they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they're like, well, if you want a bigger car, the CHR might not work for you because it's basically the same size as a Corolla. It's just a little bit funky looking with the way it looks and stuff. They didn't say it was funky looking, but in my opinion it is. So I'm like, okay, so what are my options? Like, what can I kind of like get into? Again, you guys, I'm not educated on this stuff very well. Now that I've experienced it, I'm a lot more. But at that time, I was just kind of like, whatever, like, I just want a car, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm not thinking the long term. Like, I'm thinking of the long term, but not really thinking of the long term, if that makes any sense. So I'm like, yeah, okay, so what about like a Highlander? I like Highlanders, those are nice, or something like big. And he's like, well, yeah, but those are really expensive, so how about we bring you into something that's a little bit more affordable, like a RAV4? And I'm like, okay, I like RAV4s, they're really nice. All right, so he brings me over to a 2018 RAV4, and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful, like wow. And I told him, I was like, I just want the basic edition, I want the cheapest model. And I feel like I should not have said that, like I should have just gotten something with like a little bit more specs for how much I was paying. So yeah, so we go in, and I almost didn't get approved for the car, but somehow I got approved, thankfully, because you know we did have a car or whatever. But I don't know what in my right mind told me at the time, like, yes, almost $700 car payment is perfect, like you'll be fine, what does it matter? Because with my insurance and my car payment on the Corolla, it was already almost like $900. So I was like, oh, it's not gonna make much of a difference if it's the RAV4, because my insurance actually went down with the RAV. So I was like, it's not really much of a difference, you know, we're basically paying the same thing. Little did I know that that extra $100 would have made such a big difference, and now we are where we are. Fast forward, I'm signing the papers, it's $668. I'm just really excited. I'm not thinking in my head that that's gonna be my car payment. I mean, I know it's my car payment, I was paying it, but I wasn't thinking like anything of it. I'm like, you know what, you work, I work, we good, like we just go half and half on it, we're good. That's cool, like we already agreed on it. We're like, yeah, we'll go half and half on everything, the insurance and the car payment, all that. So I'm like, cool. Then like stuff just starts, like, you know, the months start to go by, and then all of a sudden something happened, and it was starting to become difficult. Like I was having job issues, I wasn't getting enough money, stuff like that started happening, and I was like, damn. So I missed one payment, missed two payments. I ended up realizing, that's when it started to hit me, whoa, $668, that's a lot. And you guys, I had this car for about a year and like 2 months total, the RAV4. So it was starting to hit me, like I'm like, whoa, what did I get myself into? Because this is really expensive, and on top of my insurance was like $330 at the time, and then my car payment is $668. So just imagine that, like that's way too much money, almost $1,000 on a damn car, you know what I mean? And so when you start really thinking about it, and like I started breaking it down, I'm like, hold up, why didn't I think of this when I was in the, you know what I mean, like in the situation? When I went to go get the car in the first place, we were just about to move into our apartment. I was just really excited. I was like, yes, new car, new apartment, new city, like this is just great. And I don't know, like I don't know if I was so foggy from it or what, but no one was there to like tell me, hey, hold on, you really need to think about this, like this is a really high payment. And that's cool, I'm an adult or whatever, but I'm also new to credit and financing and all of that stuff, you know what I mean? So regardless, I wasn't, you know what I mean, I wasn't really taught about that kind of stuff. So in my head, and I know to a lot of you would have been like, regardless, I would not have ever said yes to a almost $700 car payment. And that's cool, congrats if you're not a fool like I was and you can easily fall into something like that. There's a plate on the floor over there, whatever. So yeah, that's my fault, and I know that, I take 100% responsibility or whatever, but no one told me, hey, hold up, press the brakes, that's a lot of money. So I just want to like put that in there. So yeah, I started missing payments, and it was really starting to hit me. I'm like, damn, like this hurts, like this is a stab to the chest. Like I'm talking, this car was more than my rent, like that's how bad it was. And I'm like, I don't know, I started leaning towards, I don't know, maybe we'll be fine without a car. And I'm not gonna lie, before I financed the car, a lot of people were telling me, like before I even got any car at all, a lot of people were telling me, oh, don't finance a car, it's gonna be expensive, this, that, and the third. And in my head, I'm like, listen, I'm getting a car because nobody's paying for my Ubers. First off, I was paying for Ubers to go to everywhere. But when I was living in Holyoke, to go to like Chicopee and stuff like that, it would cost like 10 bucks just to go there, you know what I mean, 15 bucks just to go there. So then if you go one way, then you gotta come back, you know what I mean, it adds up and it adds up and it adds up. And I was paying a lot for Ubers during the week and stuff. So I'm like, what does it matter, like I could get a car, like if I'm paying this much for Uber, I could pay this much for a car. And so I told them, I was like, nobody's gonna give me rides, because at the end of the day, nobody was giving me rides. I would ask for rides and you could just see the annoyance on people's faces. Like, you can see I was a bother. So I would do whatever I could not to bother people for rides. And so again, I wasn't really walking, because for the beginning of my pregnancy I would walk with my son, but then towards the end I was like, it started hurting my stomach when I would walk too far distances. So I was like, I'm not gonna walk no more, I gotta start taking Ubers. I know this is like all over the place, but I just wanted to put that in there, because they did tell me it would be expensive, and in my head I thought it's gonna be used, it's gonna be cheap, whatever. But then when I went in, I got sucked in and I was fooled. And I'm telling you this story because I don't want you to get fooled. So yes. So all right, so let's fast forward back to where we were. You know, we're missing payments and stuff like that, and I'm calling them, and this all started like in May or April. Matter of fact, in April I paid the car payment, but then like in May I lost my job. I had lost a job or whatever, so I was struggling with money. I had gotten one of my student loans, so I was just kind of using that to pay some of the bills or whatever. But it started to like really, like, I'm talking like this just smacked me in the face. I was like, damn, like, did I really think about this when I was signing those papers? Like, did I really think, like, you know what I mean? And I wish I was smarter, but now this is a stepping stone. This is a learning curve. I don't even know what to describe it as, but I learned from it, and I'm going to learn from it, and I'm never gonna make the same mistake again. $668, that's a freaking car payment for a Range Rover, you know what I mean? Or even if it's a used Range Rover. Like, that's when I was starting to realize, hold on, $668, right, for a car that don't got no heated seats, doesn't have a sunroof, doesn't have like a lot of these features that even the freaking older RAV4s had. You know what I mean? It didn't even have those things. What are those things that are like on top of a car? They're like little black things. I don't know if you guys ever seen a Toyota RAV4, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Those little things on the top that is kind of like a rack thing. You could put stuff on there. Anyway, so it didn't even have none of that stuff, and I'm like, is it really worth it though? Like, cool, all that stuff is extra as long as it drove to places, that's fine. But I feel like if I was gonna pay a luxury car price, I should have been having at least something of value, you know what I mean? Like, not a measly little Toyota that, you know what I mean, couldn't even do half the stuff that everybody else's Toyotas were doing. So I started really like weighing it out. So I missed May, and then I missed June, and then they were like, okay, we can do an extension, whatever, cool. I'm like, fine, all right, yeah. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this will be great. I just started another job, this will be fine, I can afford it. Okay, no, I paid July, and then August came, and again, not working again. So that didn't last very long. And so I kept telling Jose though, during this whole process, my foot fell asleep, I kept telling him, I was like, listen, I think we should give up the car because it's too expensive, like this is way too much. And you know, we're thinking, oh, we gotta get to work, because at the time I was working in South Deerfield, well, Whately, whatever, they're kind of like right next to each other. So I was working at South Deerfield, and that's really far from my house. It's like a 40-minute drive. So you know, we were like, well, we gotta get to work and stuff. So you know, I ended up not having a job anymore, so that ended up working okay. And now that he wants me to stay home and stuff, is cool. But yeah, so what's it called, so you know, we've been working up to it, you know what I mean? Like, and then at one point I was like, you know what, I'm just not gonna pay it anymore, because why am I gonna pay something that I'm gonna end up giving up, you know what I mean? So I stopped paying the car, and I'm like, you know what, if they come and get it at any moment, that's fine, let them come and get it. Then I was like, but I don't want them to come like unexpectedly. Like, I had appointments coming up, and I was like, I don't want them to come when I have to go to an appointment and all of a sudden like my car is gone. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call them and I'm gonna surrender the vehicle. And let me tell you guys, that was tough. Like, it was really sad. For a long time I was like, oh, I can't wait till the car is gone, I can't wait till the stress is off my shoulders and stuff. But now it's like really sad, because it's like, I don't think anybody knows how hard I worked for a car. Like, I worked really hard, and I'm like getting like emotional and stuff, but it's true. Like, you sit there and you create goals for yourself and stuff, and since I was 15 years old, I've been working busting my butt, pregnant with my daughter and all, and doing all these things with goals. Like I've been setting little milestones for myself, saying, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. And for someone of my age who I was able to accomplish so many things, I was so excited. I was like, yes, 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 a freaking car, like, you know what I mean? So I busted my butt. I mean, I took my freaking driver's test twice. The first time I took it in Springfield and I failed it. Stupid stuff. I was just nervous and stuff, so I ended up failing it. But then the second time I made sure I was prepared, so I even paid for a driving school to do some road lessons. Like, you know, I busted my butt. I studied, like I did what I could to get my license. And then by the time I finally got my license, you know, I was like, yes, this is what it finally added up to. Like, this is what I was waiting for. Like, this is what I gave my time for. And not to mention, like, even when I went for my permit, you guys, like I studied that freaking permit book inside and out, highlighted everything while I was at work. I was studying it. So it wasn't like this is something that I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go take my permit and I'll be fine. I took the permit test like 3 times until I freaking passed it. So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? And it was because the first 2 times, again, I rushed it. I was nervous and I just kind of rushed. I'm not a good tester. But yeah, so I like really worked really hard to get to where, you know, I was, and to get my license, to get my car. And so once I had it, I was like so like in awe, you know what I mean? And then to have to give it away, like it was really sad. Like seeing, like I was like, oh, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, like it'll be fine. But once I saw them towing the car away, and I'll probably put the clip right here of them towing my car away, that's when it really freaking hit me. Like, damn, all that hard work, all that you went through, was it for nothing though? Like, you know what I mean? But honestly, my experience, I just feel like if you're gonna go to a dealership, just make sure you're hell-bound on sticking to what you can actually afford. Because when I started really looking at my paychecks and looking at how much the car payment was, I would like to pay my car and to pay my insurance, right, in the same month. That would take 3 or 4 paychecks. Think about that. That's a month worth of work just to pay for a car. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of cheaper options and stuff like that. So if you're gonna go and finance a car, I do suggest you just get like something small and used or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you're smarter than I am. But I was just really like, I don't want to call myself dumb, but in a way I was, you know what I mean? But I just didn't like, I mean, granted, yes, there was free maintenance, whatever, but was it worth it? No. I think if you're gonna buy a car and you're as young as I am and you don't have a lot of money and you're kind of just grasping for straws at this point, I mean, I'm sure, again, you're smarter than I am, but just be smart about it. Don't let them trick you at the dealership, because in their heads they're thinking about, if you can't afford that car, they want to sell it again, and they have to make sure they can make some kind of money off of it. And I know this because the guy told me himself. I'm like, why do you always keep showing me new cars? And he's like, well, frankly, it's because if God forbid one day you can't afford it anymore, the car will still have some kind of value, so we can still be able to like sell it. And I'm like, well, nice job, like, you know, speaking into existence or whatever. There's a lot of stores by us, just a lot of restaurants, like places are really close to us, so it's not really like that bad. The only thing is, the only real downside is like Jose is going into work and stuff, he's got to ride and stuff. But and then appointments, luckily there's not a lot of appointments. Our appointments are in Chicopee and we live in Westfield, so to get to Chicopee is like $20 to $30 depending. So there's that. I don't know if I really covered it all. I'm sorry that it's all over the place. I like speaking about this just kind of gets me like a little bit like cloudy, because I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, especially like when I'm starting to realize like I really put in, like, I just broke it down right now for the first time in my, like, out loud to myself, and it was just like, wow, hold on, like what? So God's got our back, and I know soon we'll be in a different car, one that we can actually afford. And one day, and I'm speaking this into existence, I will be able to, and I'm gonna keep this in the video. I have to keep this in the video, that way when it happens I can look back and be like, heck yes, I did that. But I'm speaking into existence. I will one day be able to buy a brand new car cash. Well, probably not cash, because I heard that does bad too. Whatever, I'm gonna be able to buy a brand new car, and I'm gonna actually be able to afford it. But right now I can't, and that's okay. If you can, kudos to you, congrats. I can't, whatever. You guys, I mean, that was kind of my experience with financing a brand new car. I don't know if I really covered it again. All I know is that it was hard because you know, I'm young, and they really got me. They really tried to trick me, and because I was not educated enough on it, I said yes, and boom, they kind of locked me in, and now my credit is, so I gotta fix that too. It's a uphill battle from here, you know what I mean? Anyways, again, I am sorry if this video was all over the place, you guys. I didn't write anything down. I should have written stuff down, that way I could get to every point with you guys, but I'm pretty sure I covered everything. If you guys have any questions at all about financing a car and my experience and other details that I might not have mentioned in this video, DM me right here on my Instagram, and then I will tell you more in depth, oh my god, in depth about my experience and stuff, or whatever it is that you have, like, I don't know, or whatever. I'm just gonna end the video right here. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. I'm on the road to 200, and I'm trying to get 200 subscribers, so please be a doll and subscribe. All right guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Watching it end again and again. I feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave, so close to the edge of something so perfect. We were too scared to take